A colleague of mine once said, "A person doesn't become homeless when he runs out of money. He becomes homeless when he runs out of friends." Now consider that for a minute. If you ran out of money today, would you be on the streets? Most likely, you've got family or friends who would step up to help you in a time like that. You have what social scientists call social capital. Social capital refers to the value of social networks and the tendencies that arise from those networks to do things for each other. In 2011, I saw firsthand the incredible power of social capital. An historic mile-wide F5 tornado tore through the center of my city. Within an hour, nearly 7,000 people were suddenly without a home. And although some temporary shelters were erected, a majority of those folks found respite instead with a friend or family member long before FEMA trailers ever arrived. Most had that social network that benefited them greatly in that time of disaster. I hope you can see the benefit for those in poverty to develop such a network of friends. What I witnessed in that 2011 disaster reminds me of a great quote from Edward Devine, a late 19th century pioneer in the field of social work. He said, "If there were no social insurance, no public institutional relief, and no private organized charity, in other words, if there were no resources in times of exceptional distress except the provision which people would voluntarily make on their own account and the informal neighborly help which people would give to one another, I firmly believe that most of the misfortunes would still be provided for." Devine had great faith in the power of social capital. Have things changed? Well, according to Robert Putnam, a political scientist and author of Bowling Alone, social capital is on the decline. In the last 50 years, there's been a noticeable decline in people going to church, engaging their neighbors, involving themselves in local civic organizations. In his book, Putnam distinguishes between two different types of social capital: bonding and bridging. Bonding social capital is that value derived from close friends and family members. This type of social capital serves as a safety net if a crisis strikes. These ties are usually very strong. One study by social scientist Xavier Briggs examined changes in social capital when poor families living in Yonkers, New York, were moved into more affluent neighborhoods. Not only did the study find no significant improvement in social capital, but the moved families would drive back into the poor neighborhood every Sunday to go to their familiar church. Bonding social capital is strong. Dr. Briggs points out that bonding social capital provides social support, whereas bridging social capital provides social leverage. Bridging social capital is constructed of weaker but very important relational ties formed between people who wouldn't normally run together. One positive finding in Briggs' study revealed a significant increase in social leverage when a poor unemployed youth was acquainted with just one working adult. I hope you can see the potential benefits of bridging social capital to provide leverage for people to rise out of poverty, especially when a person's inner circle of friends and family members struggle in poverty and similar related issues themselves. At our ministry, we work hard at building social capital, and one of the tools that we've created for this is called LifeDeck. LifeDeck's a biblically based mentorship program for adults. There are 20 cards in the deck, and each card covers a particular topic in one of 4 foundational categories: groundwork, relationships, health, and work. You can see on this particular box I've written Kevin and James. That's because Kevin and I are working through a LifeDeck right now. Now, the next time we meet, we'll cover this particular card, conflicts in the relationship category. There are 6 scriptures that we'll read through together, and then we'll talk through some questions that we'll both answer. Here are a few questions. How was conflict resolved in your house when you were young? Here's another. People who make an effort to apologize often become angry if their apology isn't accepted. Why do you think this is? One more. When conflict arises in a relationship, how do you deal with it? Now, after we get done talking through this for about an hour or so, before that meeting ends, we'll decide what the activity is going to be the next week. Here's an idea of one of the activities. We could schedule a short interview with a police officer, a pastor, or a counselor and ask this question: what's the best advice you could give someone concerning conflict resolution? That's just one of a handful of possibilities, and at the end of our time diving into the topic, we'll consider any action steps we need to take to resolve outstanding issues in the area of conflict. If you want more information about this resource, visit lifedeck.us. Now, you may not want to use a biblically based mentoring program like this, but I do want to encourage you to consider what steps you can take to help your clients build social capital. So I have 2 takeaways for you today. Number 1, know your client's bonding social capital. Inquiring about your client's current close relationships will help you understand their existing safety net. Your help may not be as necessary as you think. We have an easy tool that can help you measure this at True Charity's membership site. Just follow the link in the video description. And number 2, build bridging social capital. Whether through connecting business leaders or church leaders to your clients through a tool like LifeDeck or a mentoring program like Circles USA or Jobs for Life, the social leverage to rise out of poverty from these bridging relationships is vital. As one of our instructors says when she teaches our mentorship training, beating poverty is all about these 3 things: relationships, relationships, and relationships. Now let's go out there today, fight poverty, and win.